I got something to show you guys. I got footage of Marvel vs. Capcom collection. I had about 30 minutes of personal time to play the collection. And this is like officially it, you know, recorded in, I believe the game's running in 1080p. I don't think it's running in 4K, but we'll see. But still, yeah, Challenger jingle. You can have a new one. You can have the classic one from the old games. So I think first and foremost, we should talk about the big elephant in the room with this collection and the thing that I was the most concerned about, and that is input delay. Let me push this video forward a little bit to MvC 2. So one of the interesting things about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is that there's been quite a few different versions, right? The best one arguably being the Dreamcast and the original arcade. PS3 360 version is good, but it does have a bit of input delay caked into it. The PC version, if you're playing it on emulation, is pretty good, but it's got obviously a little bit of input delay caked into it. What I will personally say on my experience is that this version does not feel as crisp as the Dreamcast version. It does not. However, it feels significantly better than the PS3 360 version, and it's probably the second best version of MvC 2, period, of any of the ports that have been released. Again, this is effectively Dreamcast/arcade emulation. You are not going to get this effectively running at the same speed as those games. It's not. But to be real, the difference between the arcade version and the Dreamcast version to this is going to be extremely minor. Very minor. So effectively, the game playing the way it does is quite good, right? Will casual players notice? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Casual players think the PS2 version of Marvel 2 is good. No, it's the worst one. It's the worst one next to the mobile version, bro. So anyway, this is specifically like the impressions coming from folks that are old heads that have been playing these games for years and can tell minor differences. If I play a version of MvC 2, I can immediately tell you if there's a ton of input delay or something feels wrong, because we played these games on old CRTs and shit. So again, the PS3/360 version was good, but it felt a little off, right? I think personally, this version of Marvel 2 feels the best. It actually feels the best next to OG Dreamcast. So I'm very happy with it. This is me on a controller, by the way. I'm doing this on controller. I could not, you know, I could not actually get a stick here. But I think the PC version might be really good because I was playing all of this on the PlayStation 4 to PS5, right? This was not on PC. This was all on PS4 to PS5. So that's just talking about things on an input delay level. We're in good hands. Also, the input delay on all of the titles in this collection, to me, felt better than the input delay on all of the titles in the previous Capcom Fighting Collection. In this one, let me go over here. In this one, right? Especially on the PlayStation 4, PS5 version of this. All of this felt significantly better than here. It almost, to me, it felt like they understood the complaint that some of their previous collections, the Arcade Stadium and this, felt like they had a bit of input delay. I think they got the memo, and it doesn't seem to be nearly as big of an issue in the new one. So it's good. It's very good. Let's go back to the front. The first thing I wanted to mess around with, because there's only 3 playable games in here: Coda, Marvel 2, and X-Men Children of the Atom. Oh, sorry, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. So I wanted to check out X-Men vs. Street Fighter first and foremost to see which version they're really running. How does this actually work, you know? Thank God the defaults are correct, right? The defaults are actually the way they should be. So let's skip ahead a little bit. And it just fires up the game straight into training mode. Oh my God. Look at that. Oh dear. We got to take that off. But more importantly, you can map buttons. So this game's definitely going to have quote unquote macros, right? Dashing. Would you believe that dashing in old Capcom fighting games that involve 2 or 3 inputs is fucking hard? Pressing 3 inputs on the same frame repeatedly is not an easy task for old versus games. So you can map dashing to a button in now Marvel 1, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. It'll make these games significantly more playable. So wave dashing and stuff like that is going to be a lot easier. That will open up mobility for a lot of people. It is very hard in the old games, right? So anyway, I think that's a good thing. I don't mind that. Something I also changed is this. You can change the wallpaper on the sides. Very cool. You get like 4 different options. But there is a ton, like an absolute ton of display filters. So between like CRT style, there's just a ton of different ways you can make it look. There's also one that has like a nearest neighbor that smooths it out a little bit. I'll show that later. But here's raw pixels. So, of course, I'm picking Cyclops and Ken, which was my X-Men vs. Street Fighter team. I should probably see if Sabretooth is as busted in this. I don't think I do. So I wanted to go in and immediately check. What does Cyclops jumping heavy punch do? What does it do? Cyclops is like super top tier in the game because he can like infinite you from almost anywhere. OG Cyclops, right? But there's 4 or 5 different versions, I think, of X-Men vs. Street Fighter where they nerfed the shit out of the top tiers. So let's take a look. And this is training mode. And yeah, confirmed, there is hitboxes and hurt boxes in training mode, not just for Marvel 2, for all of the other games. That's wonderful. Mind you, I'm on controller, so again, let's immediately see what is super jump combo into HP do? Does it do a big old wall splat or does it knock down? If it does the wall splat, then it's like the old one. I'm on controller, sorry. Uh-oh, it knocks down. So this is the one where Cyclops does not get access to super easy infinites in the corner. Some people will like that, some people won't. According to Justin, Storm was also nerfed. Her easy infinite was also not there. This is the last version of X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Again, it was updated several times. This is like the last version of it, you know? So that was confirmation of that. But there is other routes, right? Like, I think immediately I was able to figure out something. I was trying to figure out, like, oh, you can, like, do land attacks and get other stuff. So, Cyclops has other combos. You just have to do a different combo, right? But here's the crazy part. All the Shotos still had corner infinites. Most characters still had corner infinites. It's just that the obvious really good characters, like Psych and, like, Storm and stuff, did get nerfed over time. I don't know the exact changes. So I tried it with Ken. And I was like, oh, shit. And it works. It still works. Again, I was on controller. The thing is, you could still do all the infinites. It's just harder. I thought so, Kimura. It's just there are different routes, right? You have to do, like, difficult corner routes, like Marvel 1. Marvel 1 has corner infinites for a lot of characters. But they're hard. They're, like, way harder than X-Men vs. Street Fighter. So that it just might be that you just have to learn the different combo for the characters. But however, Shotos, Akuma, Ryu, Ken, I think all get access to their easy jumping HK infinite. They're all there. They're all there. But obviously the Shotos in this game aren't that good. Right? I think there's kind of like a balance the devs had for later in the history of the game at the end of X-Men vs. Street Fighter, where a lot of these characters that are mad fucking good could also corner infinite the shit out of you. I don't think any of the Shotos are particularly great in this game. They're okay. So, still, it's interesting that they get to keep their shit. And this isn't a decision made by modern day Capcom. No, this was Capcom in the 90s, in like 96, 97, when they were updating this game. I'm trying to figure out the route on a PS5 controller here, dude. And there you go. Yeah, I'm doing the wrong routes. I'm literally learning it on the fly, and I haven't done this in a long time. But there you go. What about the Japanese version of X-Men vs. Street Fighter? It is the same game. To me, it felt like it was the same game. So, I got to mess around with that. It's still there. The crazy-ass combos of X-Men vs. Street Fighter are still going to be here. So, I think I do try to go back at some point. Seka says, this version took out Psych, Storm, and Juggernaut Infinite, but kept everyone else's. And there's a level 5 version of X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Storm has her other couple infinites, though. Akuma's OTG, stand, light, punch, crouch, medium infinite, slightly different timing. Yeah. It's like a lot of this shit is still there. It's just the crazy good characters, which were mostly Cyclops and Storm. Hey, I have a question. In this version of the game, do people that play Sabretooth also eat glass? I'm just curious. Is it the same shit, or did Sabretooth actually get nerfed? And do you still eat glass? Okay, so if you guys want something that's more fucked up than any character's infinite in this game, if you're like, oh, this game's not fucked up enough, bro. If that's your concern, then Sabretooth exists. And he will do jumping HP, jumping HK, and fucking murder you. And turn off his brain and eat glass with the other hand. It's stupid. Sabretooth is arguably one of the most degenerate Capcom fighting game characters ever fucking made in X-Men vs. Street Fighter. You don't know now. You don't, if you're unfamiliar with this, you don't know now, but you will know soon when this shit comes out. He is a goddamn nightmare. You better hope you have a character that has a dragon punch or something. You absolutely better pray. You'll get fucking destroyed. Anyway, let's check out some of the different filter options. You will know pain, and I'm probably going to play them. Just to torture people. That one looks really good, right? Just to check out some filter options. This one looks really nice. This is very CRT-like, right? Another CRT-ish, but brighter. And that is, whoa. Dot matrix shit, what the hell? More CRT filters. This one's clean. So, here's something I wanted to show you guys. They have a nearest neighbor filter. And some people will like this. This filter is the same stuff that was also present in, excuse me, in Third Strike Online Edition, Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, Darkstalkers Resurrection. It's the one that sort of smooths out the pixels and creates like lines, right? You know? So it looks like more flattened art. You kind of like it. I don't hate it sometimes. As a pixel purist, you know, it's goddamn sacrilegious. But for some people, this is effectively like an HD version. It's like an HD version. All it's doing is actively smoothing out some stuff. This is also present in Fightcade, you know. Old people hate this point. Old people hate this shit. But it's there. It's up to you if you want to use it. If you want the game to look smoother and better on big CRT TVs and you don't like crispy pixels, then the option is there. So I exit training mode. I go back into the game and switch it to the Japanese version. And I don't think there's much difference in between these. By the way, play turbo, right? For anybody that is curious, there's going to be a lot of confusion in these old games, because there already has been, trust me, because what turbo means in Japanese arcade machines and English arcade machines can sometimes be different. There's going to be a lot of confusion from people. What the fuck do I play? What is the standard that people play in? Because there is multiple ways to play these games depending on which kind of turbo you play. And I'll say, in these old games, what they've done is made the defaults actually correct. It seems so far. For X-Men vs. Street Fighter, I think for Coda, it's been a long time since I played Coda. You effectively play the game, and when you get an option for turbo, don't pick normal. Pick turbo. Turbo is the speed that the game is normally kind of played at. So just stick with the default options and play on the faster speed. You should be good. So let's see in the Japanese version if it's any different. Nope, it knocks down. No massive difference between the two. I think I was trying to figure out a different route. You could do jumping HK at the end there. You know, some route. But you'll have to figure that out. I'd imagine he still has an infinite. It's just that you have to figure it's not the same. It's not the same super easy shit, you know? I have an X-Men vs. Street Fighter board where it's the easy shit. Where my version of the game that I play has the easy fucking infinites. So anyway. And I know, here's the crazy part. People will probably find new ones. Here's the crazy thing is that the resources that have existed for people to just jump into X-Men vs. Street Fighter and figure out combos has been shockingly minor for the past 20 to 25 years. Almost 30 years. Like, no kidding. The amount of people that would have been, like, exposed to and have the availability to figure this shit out, I'm not kidding you, would be relegated to a very minor subsect of hardcore FGC. And that's it. Because of just a limited availability. Now you're going to get a proper training mode for arcade X-Men versus Street Fighter, and people will figure out how to do new infinites. People will find new, better, easier shit. I almost guarantee you, dude. So that's kind of exciting. That's about the end for X-Men versus Street Fighter. Cool, right? So we check out Coda just to show it off, and I'm not good at Coda. I'd like to figure out how to play Omega Red, because Omega Red's pretty goddamn good in Children of the Atom. So I'd like to learn how to figure out how to play him. I think in Children of the Atom, when it comes out, I want to learn how to play Sentinel, because he's fucking super good. Sentinel and Omega Red. If you want a character that is also really good in this game, and it's not hard to play, you play Iceman. Iceman is hella good in this game, dude. And he is, he'll screw you up. Is Wolverine good in the older Versus games? Let me put it this way. Is Wolverine good in the older Versus games? When Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out, they split Wolverine into two characters and made them both not particularly good. Wolverine in Marvel 2 is kind of hard to use and sort of weird. The reason being is because he was god tier in every single Versus game. Every single one. In this game, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and Marvel 1, he's arguably the best character in every single game. Arguably. He's either up there with Storm in either X-Men vs. Street Fighter or other characters. He's easily one of the best characters in every single game. And there's an argument between him being actually the best and up there with the best. Just in terms of ease of use, he's stupid fucking good. He can combo into his super, does a ton of damage. Like, he's amazing. He's amazing. To the point where it's like, my OG team was Team Scrub in Marvel 1 when I wanted to win, which was Strider Wolverine. But that team would get a lot of hate because it's Team Scrub, and it's like, you can fuck anybody up with this team, right? It's super good. So to me, I would play a lot of different teams in MvC 1 just to not show the same shit over and over again, which is Strider Wolverine. There's a code to play as Akuma in this game, yeah. I don't know if he was unlocked at the start. I didn't check. I didn't check if I just, like, scrolled over and he was there. I did not look. The animation in this game is fucking amazing. So, I did this, right? Hold on a second. Switch to this filter so we can actually see the smoothing filter in action. So, you'll notice the filter actually filling in gaps and smoothing out the edges of the image. Look at the title of the names of the character. You see how it sometimes fills in some spots it's not supposed to? Because that's what the smoothing filter do. Right? If you had crispy pixels, that wouldn't happen. It wouldn't shift around like that. Some people don't mind it. It gripes the shit out of me, you know, because that's the way these nearest neighbor filters always work. It's searching for an edge and it fills in the edge, you know. Anybody that's an old school pixel purist will hate it. Will hate that shit out of it. Also, spectate. Spectate just goes into CPU matches. Straight up. Interesting. This immediately enters CPU fights. Oh, that's cool. So if you just want to see the computer fight each other, you can just fire that up, and they'll just fight forever. Interesting. You can get original, you know, actual correct sizes. Full makes the most sense to me. So it is running at correct speed. The version everyone plays on, I recommend Omega Red too because he's easy. You could TOD off a grab. Meter usage is important against him and Colossus. Yeah, teching off the ground. If you want to tech off the ground in this game, you have to use meter. This is a weird game, dude. This was like early conceptual. This game also doesn't have like traditional launchers. It doesn't. You think it's gonna have that stuff, but it doesn't. I'll talk about it later, but there's some very unconventional combo mechanics in this game that were not designed to work that way. If you want the 1v1 Capcom game that kind of plays like Marvel vs. Capcom games, you want to play Marvel Superheroes. Marvel Superheroes is the game where they figure out how the Versus series actually plays. This was just some wild fever dream idea, you know? Does Rogue have more stuff in these games before Marvel 2? She's in X-Men vs. Street Fighter. She's not particularly good. She's kind of hard to use. She's one of the few characters that I think does not have a corner infinite. showing how like the combos in this game are odd. So, yeah, it's Children of the Atom, right? It's cool just to show off some stuff. So more Marvel 2 talk. Juggernaut glitch is gone. Other things to note, not just Juggernaut glitch is gone. Ruby Heart glitch is gone. Gambit glitch is gone. Screen freezing game ending glitches are gone, which is a net bonus and positive. But instant assist glitch, like character select assist glitch, is still in the game. Tron and her crazy damage on her assist is still in the game. Hulk can still do his crazy Gamma Crush damage glitch, but for some reason, the Juggernaut glitch is gone. Here's my assumption. I don't think that's intentional. I don't. I think a lot of stuff in the game is ported over from the previous version, and the same thing happened in the PS3 360 version of Marvel 2, where some stuff made it over and some stuff didn't. In the process of them porting the game from old hardware and old code to new hardware, no shit, some bugs just got fixed, and some things that were not supposed to be there also happened in the PS3 360 version. So what I'm hoping, Air Hyper, dude, almost like everything else is still here. Air Hyper Viper, all the shit is working as intended. It's very weird to me that they would specifically target a Juggernaut glitch. So I would like to say that I hope a lot of us being vocal that the Juggernaut glitch is gone allows them to look into the game and change that before it comes out. This is why it's good the game isn't coming out right now, chat. There's also audio bugs in MvC 2 in some spots that Justin made a note of. It's not done. They are still ironing shit out. So I would like to say that I don't think them specifically targeting Juggernaut of all things makes sense, because all it did was make a giant big body character kind of better. It isn't a situation where it's like, oh, you know, this makes Juggernaut top tier. No. It just makes him kind of okay, you know? It's good. I think it's just one of those things where there's just a billion different situations that can be accounted for in this game, and there's no way the devs are going to know about all of them. But at least we can tell them, hey, bro, the Juggernaut glitch is gone. And what is the Juggernaut glitch? Juggernaut does a power-up, right? He does a power-up to do more damage on the next hit. And when he does that power-up for the next hit, he gets a ton of damage. But if you tag him out immediately after, he keeps the power up for like the rest of the game. His DHCs, his what's it called? His assists, they all do heightened damage. So it's good. He gets like permanently buffed. And it's not working now. Now if you tag him out, the damage goes away. It's crazy. You know, the damage is very good, but does it make the character super top tier? It makes him all right, is what it does. In comparison to what is good in this game, it's like, bro, they didn't touch anything on Sentinel. They didn't touch anything on Storm. They didn't touch anything on Cable. They didn't remove guard breaks. They didn't take any of that shit out. Why would they take out the Juggernaut glitch? I'm making an assumption. I don't think it was intentionally taken out. And I hope that it can be targeted to be like, hey, this is kind of an important thing for Juggernaut. Can we have it back, right? Is it cool if this could come back? So that's part of my feedback of this collection with Marvel 2. I actually want the Juggernaut glitch to come back. Is what I'm promoting, you know? I want that to actually return. So anyway, overall impressions, pretty good. Like, it's the best these games have felt in a hell of a long time. It's the best Marvel superheroes has honestly ever felt. And I actually feel like it's the best like a lot of these games have historically felt from previous versions. Even in Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, MSH and MvC in that game have a bit of input delay. And we didn't get to play them in this, but if all the other games in this have less input delay, we might have one of the best feeling home ports of Marvel vs. Capcom 1 ever, which would be incredibly cool. I'm quite happy. I think the only thing that gets me a little bit is that MvC 2 is effectively more quote-unquote feature-rich in the PS3 360 version, because they had an entire game dedicated to Marvel vs. Capcom 2 instead of one game dedicated to like 8 games or some shit, right? 8 or 9 games. I don't think we're getting widescreen Marvel 2. Look at all the crazy aliasing on this stage, bro. You know, MvC2 on PS3 360 was like a 1080p game, you know? That's the only thing, right? That's the only thing. To me, having the game reliably function and work and be like, you know, 99% the experience that you know and love is more than I could have asked for, right? I think we're in a spot where this is easily going to be the best way to play these games at all, right? This is it, you know? Do you think they're going to put ratio mode in Marvel 2? I don't think so. I do not think that's going to happen, you know? I think what we're seeing is mostly feature rich. I'd be very surprised if we got like 4-player Marvel 1 or if we got a ratio MvC2. I don't know, man. Because even MvC2 does not have rematch. There's no rematching in Marvel 2 because it's still the arcade version. Why though? Because the ports in this collection are quote unquote arcade classics, right? They are versions of the game that have never been released before outside of arcades. Like these ports specifically have never been put onto anything. PS3 360 version of Marvel 2 was the Dreamcast version. That is unique, right? That is a unique aspect of all of these games. They are the arcade versions, not like the home ports. Did they address this not coming to Xbox? No, they didn't have anything to say about that. I largely assume it's going to be because Microsoft spent $70 billion on Activision Blizzard and, you know, they don't have time to spend money on anything else right now. I'm looking forward to playing more in the future. I want to play Marvel 1. I want to play Marvel Superheroes. I want to play MSH VSF. I want to see what those feel like.